Hey, what's up, everyone? It is the Beast. Welcome to the Beast On. What's the Beast on today? The Beast is on my new lavalier mic. Is this thing on? Is this thing on? Huh? Is that annoying? Huh? And I've got this new tripod selfie stick. We're moving up in the world. We're getting more equipment. The green screen's coming in, the lighting. We're going to have professional studio software, all of that stuff, so you don't have to see my unmade bed behind me as I do these videos and branch out to audio and do other stuff and invite other people over, and we'll have a big blast here on the Beast On. But the most important thing you can do is, if you're watching this right now, is subscribe to the channel. And all you have to do is just create an account for YouTube. Why wouldn't you have one? You probably have a Gmail address anyways. Subscribe to the channel, and of course, hit the little bell. Ding, 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 ding. I don't think it makes a sound. But if you hit the bell, then it will notify you as soon as some of this amazing content is uploaded. The other things you can do is follow me on social media, both on the Twitter and the IG, as the kids say, at Miami Radio Beast, and you can go to my Patreon page. My Patreon page is all about those of you that want to support what I'm doing, which is independent media, free of the corporate big man telling me what I have to say and do. And there's a lot of us doing this now, and this is my foray into it. And I don't know where this is going to go, but I know the plans that I have, the business plan that I'm making, the friends that I'm involving, the connections that I'm involving. It's going to be big, it's going to be awesome, and it's going to be a blast. So get involved via my Patreon page, and you can do that at patreon.com/Brian Lewis. No, correct. Not using my middle name. It's patreon.com/Brian the Beast London. BRIAN the Beast London LONDON. Go to the Patreon page, check it out, and help support the cause. All right. So today's video is all about Manny Diaz. He was on the Joe Rose show this morning, as he is every Monday after a game, and Joe and Zach did a good job of asking some questions. And, you know, listen, I've been in these positions, right? You work for the radio station that's the flagship of a team, and here comes the coach on in his weekly appearance, and you have to walk that line between being friendly, being nice, being kind of politically correct, and also asking the questions that the fans want to hear. Remember, there's a relationship there between the Joe and the University of Miami. So if you thought Joe or Zach was going to come on and be like, "Hey, coach, why don't you fire Dan Enos?" That's just not going to happen in that circumstance. But listen. Here's what I thought of the interview. One, I think Manny's incredibly smart. Let's start there. I think he's really smart. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. And I think if you took him behind the scenes, off the record, maybe, got him a couple of shots or whatever, floats his boat, I think he'd tell you there was some definite mistakes he made in his first year head coaching. I think a couple of the pluses were the weight room stuff. David Feely came in and had an immediate impact. I think that was good. I think recruiting, despite the season that they had, sorry that I keep moving, but I don't want to fall. But despite the season that they had, able to get some of these recruits that are still hanging on and want to make a difference at the University of Miami, that's important. So those are positives. But the things that I heard were, there was a lot of coach speak, a lot of excuses, a lot of, hey, if we scored a touchdown in the third quarter against Duke, we run away with that game. Yeah, but you didn't, and you lost to Duke and FIU back-to-back. You can't play the if game. And we heard it earlier in the year. Oh, we're 7 points away from being undefeated and all. Guess what? You know how many teams could say that? I mean, football is literally a game of how the ball bounces, one way or the other, right? An interception could have turned into a miraculous catch, or the other way around. So I just don't think the Miami fan base is there waiting for you to give out the, oh, well, if we do this or do that, we would have been A-okay, because that's not what it was. I think he did bring up the inconsistency in the quarterback position, and I'm puzzled by it as much as he was, with Jaron Williams seemingly not looking good. after he looked like amazeballs against Louisville. So we got to go explore that. Is there another quarterback competition in the offseason? And if there is, then, maybe you just don't have the guy on the roster. Maybe that's it. And you tried to bring in Tate Martell through the portal. Tate Martell, I think, would have worked in a spread offense or more of a running offense for the quarterback. That's not what Manny Diaz decided to do. So I don't understand that. You brought in this guy from Ohio State who has a particular set of skills, like Liam Neeson, and that's not the offense you run. And it seems like Tate's got some things going on mentally, emotionally that he's got to deal with, and that happens. That happens in life. It happens with all of us. It's happened to me. So we'll put that aside for a moment. But Manny Diaz really has to figure out what they're going to do with the quarterback situation. But more importantly, I can't stress this enough. Listen, Dan Enos may be a great offensive coordinator for an Alabama team that has a professional at every position and does a certain thing. Maybe that's his gig. But at the University of Miami, no matter what you do, you're recruiting athletes, right? You're recruiting at speed at every position, right? It's all about speed. Manny talked about it on defense, right? They went smaller but faster. Well, on offense, you have speed everywhere. There's speed all over the place. The Jeff Thomases, the Popes, the Hartleys, you could name them, they have them. And to me, when you look at college football now, the speed, being able to take advantage of that speed, is all about some sort of spread. Now, it doesn't have to be your dad's spread. It doesn't have to be Rich Rodriguez, West Virginia spread, although they did a lot of spread it out and run. God, I think that dude is still running against Miami in the game. That Quatrain Hill was amazing. But that's neither here nor there. You got to find a way to utilize the speed. That's just, there's no reason why guys should not be open for the University of Miami, and there's no reason why the quarterback shouldn't be able to find the guys that are open. So, I know back in the day Miami went to a pro-style offense, but guess what? That pro-style offense, that was something new in college football. Remember, teams were running the wishbone. What is this? Forward passing. Holy crap. What is this? Lining up with a fullback. Holy crap. By the way, has anyone seen Realist George? Anyone? Is he like with Dick Cheney in a undisclosed location? Anyone? Realist? I mean, I've seen a photo of him working out on Instagram, but guy was the nation's top fullback. Where the hell did he go? So I think Manny really needs to look at the coordinators now. Now, you saw Texas, right? Texas and Coach Herman made decisions. They didn't have a good enough season for them. They made decisions to switch out the coordinators. Now, listen, this can backfire, right? Because as we saw after that debacle of a Peach Bowl against LSU, Pete Garcia and Paul D made Larry Coker fire the entire staff. That was a bit of malarkey, if you will. Thanks, Joe Biden. Wait, for 1 second. This is apolitical. If you're Joe Biden and you want to try to relate to the younger people because you're 77, using the word malarkey, good idea? Not so much. All right, back to this. So Larry Coker has to fire his entire staff. These are all the greatest assistant coaches that have coached the University of Miami. The Keyhoes, the Solingers, the Vernon Hargraves, the Curtis Johnsons. You know the whole staff, right? He has to fire all of them. And then what came in, what replaced them, was a band of clowns that I can't even get into. I mean, Rich, I don't even know what was going on. Todd Berry was on that. I don't know. I don't know what was going on. That was a horrible staff that he had to bring in. So that could backfire. But let's be honest. If Manny Diaz switches out this staff, if Manny Diaz switches out coordinators, he's not exactly switching out a staff that brought you to national prominence in this past season. So I don't think you're missing anything. And I know he's boys with a lot of the boys on defense. And I know he's got relationships with some of the guys on offense. And certainly you do want to keep some of the members of the staff around for continuity's sake. But it's time to make some switches, okay? And you got to really look at the plain and simple part of it, which is you're in Miami, you're recruiting South Florida athletes. Yes, you're going to go up into Georgia and Texas and LA or California and other parts of the country and get athletes. But most of your recruits are coming from South Florida. What schemes do they fit in? Go find a guy that runs that scheme and does it well. I think the most frustrating thing for Canes fans on a week-in, week-out basis is watching other college football teams, and not even good ones, score like crazy because they are able to take guys that are just guys, but put them in a scheme that has guys open all over the field, defenses can't keep up with, and you're seeing points scored all over the place. I mean, when you think about it, like, you tune into a game, and I can't even think of a team I'm thinking of, but let's just go with, I don't know, not Navy, because they run a particular type of offense that happens to cater to the fact that they really can't have any biggins on their team because of naval restrictions. But, I don't know, think of a team that puts up a bunch of offense. I can't think of it right now. Maybe a Boise State. I don't know. I'm just talking here. And you know their talent's not as good as Miami, but there's dudes running all over the field, and their quarterback, who I don't think are that great, are getting the ball out to them. How's this being done? How is this happening, and why is it not happening here? So I think if I'm Manny Diaz, that's what I sit down and do right now while you're on the recruiting trail. Look at the talent that you have, and look at every program in the country, and go find a guy. And maybe, if you really think it's Dan Enos, fine, but tell Dan, where's Dan? Dude, you gotta switch it up. Like, we can't, whatever Waffle House size pamphlet you're using for your playbook that Mark Richt probably handed to you, we got to ditch that. We got to go to something that's a little more, upbeat, fast, up-tempo, spread, get the ball into people's hands. But I'm guessing you got to move away from Dan Enos. This experiment's not working out. So you go around the country and you find the guru of all gurus at putting athletes that can run like hell in the right position to get the ball and score. That's what you got to do. You do that, you're halfway there. Now you got to deal with the quarterback situation. Do you go to the portal again? Or do you somehow make it so that Jaron and Nkosi, who have, two different issues. Jaron seems to be inconsistent, and I'm not sure what part an injury played into that or not. And Nkosi, I think part of Nkosi is he can't get right upstairs, if you will. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what I've been told. So you got two different issues there, and Tate's off, getting himself right. So whether you go through the portal or it's recruiting or what have you, you got to find a quarterback, you got to find a system, you got to find a coordinator, and you got to figure out how to score the damn football. As far as defense goes, I mean, you could talk about being in the top 20 in all these categories, and that's wonderful, but something was missing this year, and I understand you lost a lot in the secondary to the draft, and you had the linebackers and all this stuff, and you did develop players. I mean, guys like Greg Rousseau, holy crap, that guy's going to be a first-round pick. That's Calais Campbell Part 2 right there. So, I'm not sure if you have to fire Blake Baker, but certainly Manny needs to, I think, take the reins of the defense and do a little more exploring in that. And if that means you have to part ways with one of your friends, then you, and a guy that you mentored in Baker, then you got to do that. I think one of the biggest issues in college football, or in football in general, is you hold on to coaches too long if you're a head coach because you're friends or you're related in the case of Mark Richt. And you cannot let loyalty get in the way of making your organization better. You just can't. Now, that sounds hypocritical from a guy that just was as loyal as possible and is now sitting at home without a full-time job, but that's neither here nor there. I just signed an agreement. I can't speak ill of my former employer. I love them. Radio.com. Yay. So, those are my thoughts. Manny had a lot of coach speak this morning on with Joe and Zach, and that's to be expected. Every coach is going to do that. You're not going to get him to come out and say, hey, yeah, Dan Enos sucked this year. We need to get rid of him. If you're looking for that, it's not going to happen. So those are my thoughts right now. We got much more to get to. I'm going to try to figure out a regular posting schedule here as we get towards the off season. Once the NFL season's over and we're in the midst of basketball and hockey and recruiting and off-season workouts and the NFL and the draft and all that stuff, we'll go to a more of a regular posting schedule. For now, it's just going to be whenever I feel like it. And I promise you, soon, within the next few weeks, this will all look better. It'll be professional. Well, other than this, this we can't. We can help, but it's going to take a little longer. And notice the T-shirt. We got to do better on the clothing. We got to do better on all of it. So thank you for watching. Once again, subscribe to the channel, and share it, retweet it, share it on Facebook, share it everywhere. The IG, the TikTok, the whatever the kids are using these days. And go to the Patreon page, which again is patreon.com/Brian the Beast London, and follow me on social media at Miami Radio Beast. For everyone in this bedroom, which is just me, I'll see you when I see you. Peace.